Yo guys, welcome. This is episode 1 of our Bengali Prince
yes, thank
podcast.
you.
Hello. After 3 years, we are
3 years, man.
3
That's
years.
fuck.
We are reunited.
We're reunited. He looks very sexy. He used to be very not sexy. Now he looks more sexy. We're gonna miss it. We're basically celebrating his PhD.
No, we're not.
Yes,
no,
we are.
no, we're not. No, we're not. We're celebrating him having ironed trousers. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
We were talking about. So what was the question? The question was, like how our brains are made to
think.
Yes.
Because I've read a lot of books. Okay, and then
Go to the book.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I've learned a lot of how things happen, how our brains process stuff. But I actually want to know from you because Turam Jani, and I know you're very smart and you know about these things. At least biologically, you know how the brain works.
Yeah.
So tell me about how does our brain work?
I think at a certain point, at any given frame of time, our brains are not designed to multitask.
Okay.
They're designed to deep flow term when you lock in fully.
Yeah.
When you fully lock in, that's when we are at our most productive.
Okay.
So and I've tested this out myself. I've tried to something very simple, when you have 2 exams the next day.
Yeah.
Instead of splitting your day into 2, it's better to just spend one day on one, next day on another. So because if you don't let your brain get to that flow state, because it takes a bit of time. It's like sleeping. Our sleep has different stages. We have REM sleep, we have very deep sleep.
Yeah.
That's when most of the repair happens, and then slowly it's like a bell curve, right? In that middle part.
Yeah.
So what happens when you multitask is you keep interrupting that build up.
Yes.
So if you think, okay, I've done the build up part, and then I'm going to build up another one, you're not reaching that optimum point, which only happens after a very long time. Actually.
Yeah.
So you have to stay in that phase long enough. So that applies to everything. It's not just your academics and your brain. Everything you do, obviously to within reason, you should invest proper time into it. Even if it means relaxing. I don't believe in the Pomodoro technique. It's you have 25 minutes of work, and then you have 5 minutes in a break.
Oh, you don't believe in that shit?
The thing is, it works, but it's not the most optimal. The reason is because it works for it depends on the task. If it's an admin.
Okay, can I give you an example? Just identify what's the problem here. Okay, so when I used to study in back in semester, what I used to do is I used to study and complete one entire task for around an hour and a half, and then take 15 minutes break, and I just edit videos.
Okay.
And then I come back and then do another part of the chapter, and then take 15 minutes break and edit that part of the video or another video.
Yeah.
Like that. And the video acts as me relaxing.
Yes.
So that's how I do it.
No, if it's an hour, then I would say that's pretty good, because then you're you're giving yourself a chance to reach that peak state.
Okay.
The problem is it depends on the task. It really does. If you're doing something very, very retention or admin, for example, if you're just editing an Excel file, you don't need to reach that deep flow state.
Yeah, because it's repetitive.
Task. It's more your brain you're trying to avoid fatigue. That's why you're breaking it down. Yeah. So also the closer you get to your deep flow state, the more fatigue you generate, because your brain is using most of its active neuron pathways.
Yeah.
So if you really need to, then do it the way I just described it. When you need to reach your deep. Yeah, exactly. But when you're trying to manage fatigue, then you should do it you should break it up. Before you get to that deep flow state, you should break it up. So it really depends on the task. So if you're working on something that requires a lot of brain power, for example, if you're doing, I don't know, simulation, if you're doing something new.
Or application based.
Yeah, exactly. When you're trying to be creative, when you're trying to when it's not a pattern, when you have never seen that before, when you're trying to find your own path.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of anything that needs creativity, critical thinking, that kind of stuff. You need to be in that flow state.
Okay.
But every time you're in something that you just need to get done, but you don't want to get too tired, that's when you should actively try to multitask. Because the more we multitask, it's like checking reels, short form, it's
those are quick dopamine, don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. You need to reward your brain quickly.
Yeah.
When you're doing long form, you're not really rewarding your brain. You're making it really lock in.
Yeah.
So the more you reward yourself, the less fatigue it generates, and the more fatigue you generate, the more it acts as an engine. It gets a lot of
What do you mean by that?
So when you reward it, the brain kind of shuts, not in a weird way, it shuts down as in you know like how an engine, like it just shuts and then it starts, like it stops still traffic. So that's when the engine is like, it's like, that's not the most optimal phase, but it's also the most easy to like understand.
Okay, yeah, that's why they can, the parts of the brain just stops.
Yeah, exactly. It stops and then it starts again. It stops, and so you're not burning yourself out.
Yeah.
But it's also not the best use of it. Like you're not getting the most out of it. If you think about it, just a car, you're not getting the most use mileage if you're just constantly stopping and constantly stopping. But it's like very like chill and very easy, right? But once you like let it reach the top part, you will generate a lot of fatigue. But you are getting the most bang for your buck. Like you're getting per unit time as you go on, you are going to get like a lot of like critical thinking energy out of it. You can't, there's no comparison, because you can't get critical thinking if you keep interrupting your brain.
Okay.
Like you need to lock in for it to be.
How much of a time frame period do you think is locking?
That really depends. If you're very, very focused in general, if you're like a very, I don't know, like disciplined person, you won't need that long, because you don't feel the need to just, you know, constantly sit and get distracted and then sit back again. But if you're like me, I tend to take a bit of time, because I'm still.
What do you mean like to things boost it on time? Like
boost it, like I need to like basically like boost the time at your bishi, like to be aware that I don't like I'm not getting distracted. That takes a bit of time.
Okay.
Because constantly like when you feel like acha thik ase itu korlam, it'll break me. Or like as soon as you are actively thinking of that, that means you're not in your deep state. Because when you reach that deep state, you will not be thinking of a break, because that is out of your realm. Like you're only thinking of the problem.
Yeah.
So when that happens, the best way to know when it happens, when you're working on it for so long, you forget that time has passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like once you're like fully locked in, you'll be surprised how much time just passes and you have been working like at full capacity. Obviously that will generate a lot of fatigue and you have to like offset it by a bigger break. But it took time that you were not even thinking about a break. That's when you are like the most creative, the most critical, the most like, that's when you're getting, so when you're not thinking about it, that's when you are thinking about what you needs to be thought of.
Okay. And then how do you think, I have two questions, how do you think somebody goes into a state like this?
So practically the only way to do it is to like force yourself in the beginning. You have to force yourself. It is like a discipline thing. So for me, I had like a lot of like really weird tricks. Like I used to have like reward systems built in place, because you don't really start with like 1 hour blocks in the beginning. You start with like 25 minutes, then slowly increase it, and then give yourself a bit of like, you know, a bit of chocolate, a bit of Instagram reels, TikTok, stuff like that. But like eventually you don't need it. Like as soon as you realize you're not thinking, or you're like, oh, do I really need this break? That's when you know like your capacity is going up. Like at a certain point, you're not going to want that break, because you're like so locked in, and the work is going well. So you're seeing like you're making progress. As soon as you break that progress and you come back, there's like more friction. You feel like, oh, I have to start the engine up again.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, that's so true.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone experiences this, but like it's all like a balancing act, because once you get out of that deep state fully, the fatigue is real, because your brain is. Then you have to be very gentle and kind to yourself. You can't expect. Okay, let me give an example. Like hard 3 hours porla or any kaj korla, anything, any kind of work that needs.
It's application based work.
No
pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it's like intense work. If you do it for 3 hours in a deep flow, you have to really, really let your brain chill after, because you've just been fatigued more.
Yeah, even in the gym, like if you're locked in for like an hour and you had a good session, you come back and your brain stops working a little.
Exactly, because you haven't given it any dopamine. Like you've just gotten everything out of it. So that's when you have to be, because even if you put the same amount of time, but you've taken smaller breaks, you've taken more of like a chill task, for example, more repetitive, more. Like you can have someone on call and do it. Then even if you do it for 3 hours, 4 hours, you won't need that much. What's the word?
Repetition. Or
recovery.
Recovery. Okay.
Yeah, you won't need that much recovery, just because like the nature of the task and the nature of the brain power that you used, they're not as taxing on the brain. So when I do work like that, I just like I don't give myself as many excuses. I'm like, no, you don't need that much rest. Like I tell my brain, you don't need that much rest, because even though you've worked for 4 hours, even though you've worked for more time, the nature of that time is a lot less fatiguing. So you can be more critical on how much recovery you need.
Yeah, and you know what? Like this is something again very different from our topic, but like when I used to in my second year, or at least part of my third year. I locked in a lot in the sense that I genuinely studied a lot and I really liked what I studied. I liked my routine. I didn't socialize much or whatever. In the end, I understood that you kind of get lonely. and that becomes a part of it. And so why is it like that? That when you're locked in, you get lonely, whereas when you're like chill, you get to interact with more people. And also, like, is it the oxytocin release or?
I would say like there's a bit of that because a lot of connection, a lot of like socializing that is related to dopamine, which is what you're starving your brain of when you're locked in.
Oh.
Because the whole point because dopamine feels good, right? So automatically it relaxes the brain. But once you starve it, the brain is fighting for that. And when it knows that the only way to get that dopamine is to like finish that deep state and come back. It's like I said, it's like sleep. Like the only way to get rid of REM sleep or deep sleep rather is to either get woken up by someone or to finish the sleep and wake up naturally.
Yeah.
So your brain, since it's not being woken up by anyone, it knows that it needs to finish the cycle.
Okay.
So it forces itself to like go into
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like I'm a neuroscience nerd, so there are a lot of parallels between sleeping, like sleep patterns and focus patterns, because they're just two sides of a coin. Our brain works the same way. One is recovery, one is activation.
You know, there's something that I learned recently. I was reading, and they said that so right now we're in a society where we're surrounded by anti-boredom machines.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what do they give whenever you're bored? You have nothing to do. You try to hit yourself with dopamine spikes and or oxytocin or whatever makes you feel good, and you go and do a lot of things. Music, you go to Instagram, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So by default, you're giving your brain not much time to think, right? It's always processing information. They said just one day, just for 15 minutes, don't listen to anything, just be you and let your mind wander. And in that position, the brain is in its default state, and it keeps wandering. And they said in that sort of like situation or scenario, if you keep asking yourself questions with what's wrong with your life, you'll get the answer from yourself.
Oh, it's very interesting. I have not done that before. I will be very interested. Actually, very scared to know the answer if it comes from within.
And you know what? Like a lot of people, they're so scared of boredom. Like they actually did an experiment with this, and a bunch of people were hooked up with the machine, and they were like they had like a button, and if they hit that button, they'll get shocked. And you have to just be in a room for 15 minutes and not do anything, or 15 minutes, or I don't know how much amount of time, but for a period of time you have to be in that room and not do anything. Just sit down with a button in your hand that can, if you press on it, it shocks you. A lot of people pressed on it all the time because they were bored.
So they would rather get shocked than be bored. I would do that as well, I think, if I got really, really bored.
Isn't that crazy, man?
Yeah. No, I was just having this conversation with a few of my friends. I can't sit at home and do nothing. Like, I can't. Like, if there is a reason to leave the house and do something, I'll do it.
Oh, that makes you really adventurous, you know? That's really cool.
mean, yeah, but also I feel like it's a bit of like, it's more FOMO, I think. Like, I always feel like...
FOMO? Oh, fear of missing out?
Yeah.
I also have FOMO, big time.
Yeah, because like I feel like it's so limited, it's so precious. Every single, like even this conversation, it feels like...
like, if you didn't come here today, right, and if you would decide, okay, I'll come, and you didn't have that tournament, we'd probably be a different sort of, I don't know, conversation.
Exactly. Like there's always more to do. That's what I always feel like. Because everything feels so special and so limited that I always find myself struggling to like accept that, oh, I can just chill, I can do nothing now. I just don't like it. I feel like that's not the kind of like, it's not ungrateful, but I feel like I don't appreciate every single day enough.
Yeah.
If I don't.
That's very, very true.
Yeah. That's just me though. Like a lot of people just like they would rather just chill. Like that's their version. But like I literally was having this debate last night, just saying I just don't like chilling my way. Like I just.
So what is chilling for you?
It depends.
Like right now, are we chilling?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're giving valuable content to our viewers.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah, we're giving
I forgot that shit, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think for me, chilling, especially like when I'm not like tired or something, because if I'm tired, I'm not going to be able to do the things I want to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of it over the years, I have like found more peace in like just surrounding myself with like good people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've become a lot more social.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah,
and
like
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. It's not like a personality trait. It's something I've actually built up. Like,
okay.
like obviously you don't know, but people who have known me when I was younger, I used to be very quiet, very shy, and yeah. But now I just feel like it's just so
You're
much.
very good with girls. That's all I remember.
No, no, not at all. That is a skill I'm still working on. But at least this one, I think I've grown a lot. Like in this way, like I can hold conversations with new people. I can like find things that I enjoy about them. It helps me relax. It helps me it gives me energy. Like some people say that they gain energy when they're by themselves. I don't. I gain energy when I'm with other people. To a certain extent, until I'm tired of them and then I go fall asleep. But other than that, I enjoy it.
Bro, that's really cool, man. Because if you came to the city that I live in Canada, it's not a big city. It's a pretty small city, but it's a very university-based city, and then everybody knows everybody. So in that city, because when I came in my first year, I really wanted to go to a really better university, and for some reason, because my family was in a certain place, so I had to go there, whatever. So I went to that university, and I was like, you know what? For the first time in life, I'm gonna say yes more and no less. Okay, and then that's what I did, and I had the best time of my life.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I'm happy for you, man. That's good.
Yeah, and that's how I met a lot of people, right? And it's crazy that even now, right now I'm not that social. I'm very locked in or whatever you say in like the town that I live in. But because of those years, people still remember me, and a lot of people know me. So I'm also somebody like that I kind of feed off with that sort of energy.
Do you call them extroverted, or do you just call them I don't know, social?
Yeah, you call them extroverted, social. But again,
I feel like I'm not extroverted. I can't I'm not the life of the party. I just enjoy being on the sidelines and just experiencing. I'm an observer. I'm a very enthusiastic observer. This is not
that's the best trait somebody can have, man. Being a good observer.
Yeah, I guess I just tend to, because even your friend, he seems chill. I just let him speak. I enjoyed getting to know him.
He's one of my best friends.
The thing is I feel like I don't have to be the guy. I don't have to be the center of it. I don't want to be. I tend to just enjoy interacting with them rather than being the person that everyone interacts with.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Those were the questions I had to ask you. Ask me a question.
Ask you a question?
Yes. Anything. But again, PG-13,
Well, our audience is not going to be under 13. No chance. Everyone's going to be, at least
40s.
Well, no. I mean, they're going to be, people who want to get their life together, they want to be locked in.
Locked in, yeah.
Self-improvement.
Yeah, man. It's
also women in general, just because you look like that. So
I don't know.
just women.